I'm going to name the possible cross-offs, and you tell me which one you were talking about when you're saying this is the one we're probably going to add. Rams, Seahawks. I mean, they're number one in their division. We can't possibly cross them off, but it's just they sort of still belong in this section, I guess. Bengals, Bears, Niners.
So actually, I'm sorry. I have there's two I have.
Okay, great.
Is y'all in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I think the Bears is probably time to go. That they're definitely not going to make the playoffs, but I will say I'm still strangely optimistic to see them play out the rest of their season.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think I would agree, Bobby. Obviously, you have some veto power here if you don't, but I thought it very much did feel like a nail in the coffin type game when the Bengals were walking off the field against the Pittsburgh Steelers. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, no, the Bengals are done for sure. They had a chance late in that game to pull that one out, but no, they're done. They're done.
Not really, though. Like, did you ever at any point really feel like they were going to win? Like, basically from the fourth quarter onward, after that first fourth quarter TD, it was like,
Yeah,
it's hard to give up 44
I mean,
and then win a game.
best case scenario, they could have tied it and then maybe lost in overtime, but that was about it. It wasn't going to be something where they walked away with the win. But once again, that's been a microcosm of Cincinnati's season.
Yeah.
Once again, it was all downhill once they lost to us. There's no way they should have lost to that New England team. There's no
Same is true of the Bears.
no way. No, seriously though. But no, there's no
been
way.
a downfall for like 4 separate teams this season losing to the Patriots.
Yeah, right.
Like there's no way, So and once again, Seattle came real close to losing to us, but it's like there's I think the Patriots have been in 5 one-possession games this year. No, but needless to say,
the Jets lost to you guys. The Jets lost to you guys, fired their coach. The Bears lost to you guys, fired their offensive coordinator. And
yeah, I mean, maybe we could beat the Bills one out of the next 2 weeks, and get
yeah, there you go.
That'd be great.
That's positive thinking. That's the power of positive.
Yeah, that's the power of positivity, Toby.
Can I make one more suggestion just to talk about them real quick? I know it seems fucking crazy, but the 5-7 49ers. I mean,
without CMC,
I know they've had a lot of injury issues.
Yeah.
But it's only because I don't think they can stay healthy. And I said this a few weeks ago when I was on here with y'all. Like we talked about them. We've had a good discussion about them. I don't think they'll stay healthy enough to be a legit
to mount a big comeback from the Bay Area in the winter months. I don't think so. Yeah, it just doesn't seem. I mean, you saw what they look like in the snow against the Bills. It was like, well, these are the months we're heading into, guys. Like, you should have come in here with a lot more wins if you wanted to make any sort of impact late in the season, right, Bob?
Yeah, and this is one of those weird seasons where that 7 seed has a pretty good record in both conferences. So it's not like any of these teams are going to be getting a wild card berth. You know what I mean? Like the Niners, the Bengals, the Bears. They're all fighting for possible division spots and not even wild cards. So it's going to be tough for them to make a comeback, I think.
That's true. I mean, but then if you do look at the teams underneath them, like they're 11th in the NFC. And underneath them are the Saints, the Cowboys, the Bears, the Panthers, and the Giants. And I just feel like I don't actually know if any of those are going to drag them down. But above them are the Rams and the Cardinals and the Bucks and the Falcons. And all of those teams have not been good at times. Like you could conceivably, I don't think we should cross out the Niners yet because the teams above them are weak. The teams above them are weak, like by their record. You know what I mean? They could slip in, and we'd have to admit we were wrong, which I hate doing. Let's save them. In the same vein, I think we should save the Rams and the Seahawks. The Seahawks are number one in their division, like I said. The Rams, the Rams, I think have looked kind of potent offensively at times, and I think that they're not a team. Mike and I discussed this last week. If they do slip into the playoffs, the Rams, even though they're at 500, like they could go either way. They're a team you wouldn't want to see early. They're really a team you wouldn't want to see early. I think they've got that written all over them.
But you guys know how I feel about Matthew Stafford. He's
a dog.
He's irrationally one of my favorite non-Patriots. Like he's just really good, and I've always enjoyed his game. So absolutely, can he bomb you for 360 with 4 touchdowns and a pick and get you up out of there? Absolutely, I would love to see that. I would love to see that because I just enjoy watching him play. So that
would be cool. That would be cool. So let's leave them alone. Let's leave the Seahawks alone.
We're going to learn a lot about the Seahawks. They play the Cardinals next week. So
I think we know what we know about the Seahawks, to be honest with you. I think that they may make the playoffs, but I just don't see them doing anything because I think they have huge flaws.
One of those teams you can't wait to bet in the playoffs.
Yeah. You just know, right? You just know they're going to get their matchup, and you're just going to know. Honorable mentions. Let's go through. I'll read the whole list. The guys who didn't make the power rankings, but still potentially we think could: the Bucks, the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Texans, the Cardinals, the Commanders. I'm I'm leaning towards taking the Bucks, the Dolphins, and the Falcons and bumping them down to possible cross-offs. To be honest with you, I think they're closer to possible cross-offs than they are uh, any other direction. I say that in the sense that I enjoyed the Dolphins rolling along and putting a few wins together once they got Tua back. But is this the season where they go 5-7 into the winter months and they miraculously start being able to play in the wintertime? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't see them really mounting any sort of. I mean, Ray already mentioned he thinks McDaniel might be heading to the hot sheet. But Bobby, what do you make of them? I mean, I know you bet big on them going into the fantasy football season. So how are you collecting yourself with the Dolphins so far?
Yeah, no, they're definitely heading towards the cross-off land. I mean, we'll see what happens next with the Jets. If they lose that game against the Jets, man, they're definitely heading towards that cross-offs.
Nobody loses against the Jets.
They do look like they could be spoilers though, heading into this final stretch. You know what I mean? They may be heading towards
Could
the
fuck up the
cross-offs,
AFC playoff race.
but
Yeah.
they could be
Mm-hmm.
the one that fucks up the AFC playoff race. I could see it.
Yeah. I could see that too. Do they have to play the Bills again? You know,
Like
like
they
they do some mean stuff in a divisional matchup. I could see it happening. The Texans are in there. I think we sort of said our piece on the Texans. I don't know if much has changed since we sort of said maybe next year for them. They're probably going to win their division. They're probably going to go into the playoffs. Faced up against a team that might knock them out in the first round. I could see that. That they sort of have that written all over them this year. I think it might be because we're all a little let down because I think we all thought that they were going to be much better than they are with the moves they made.
Mhm.
It stinks. Obviously, injuries have been a huge factor with them this season, especially Diggs going down. So you feel for him a little bit, but Stroud, I think, has had a down year compared to the sort of like way he
Mhm.
entered last year. And I don't think that you got to beat him with that stick. I think that's okay. That happens to sophomore QBs sometimes. I don't think it really means anything. I don't think it means he sucks. I think it means let's see how he does next year
Yeah,
with a
I
little
mean,
return to form.
they have the most sacks given up in the AFC right now. So I mean,
Yeah, that's also
you can't
not
win the
that's
game
just
on
a
your back.
shocker. That's a shocker because of who was playing in Gillette Stadium. That's fucking wild.
the
Like,
Bears. I think are number one in the NFC. So it's not great when your QB doesn't have any fucking time to do anything. It's very
Yeah.
true.
you don't say. Oh my god, that's wild.
The Commanders bounced back from a little down slope. I was doing a little celebration lap because I was like, Cliff Kingsbury fucking sucks in the second half of the season. His offense is always good as shit. The numbers are there. But they had to come back against the Tennessee Titans. Did they look good? Yeah. Did the Titans maybe not get the memo that like they play a simple offensive scheme and they can, or maybe they're tanking? I don't know. Yeah, if you let them go nuts on you, but I don't see them cracking the power rankings again. Ray, are you totally disagreeing with me?
Once again, they might be, I think, 11-12 the rest of the way. I don't think that they crack into the 10. Like I mean, unless they would have found a way to like win out, obviously, or go like 4-1 or 5
They'll be
whatever.
fun to watch in the playoffs, though. They'll
Yeah,
make the
I
playoffs,
mean,
right?
yeah, I mean, once again, I kind of crapped on them earlier this season. Like, I felt like they just wasn't going to win a certain amount of games. They do face us soon, so it's like I think it's right after the break they face us actually. So after the bye week, so that should be a good right game for them. It should be. We have gotten Arizona a couple of times the last couple of years, even with bad rosters. So we'll see. But I just think that I think they finished 9-8. Like I think they're like right on the door knocking in, and they'll finish around by 11-12 in our records at the season's end.
I wonder what happens though, because everybody's really raving about Kingsbury as an OC, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of teams linked with him
Well,
for a
he shouldn't
head
be a head
coaching
coach
job
though.
again.
He's not.
I don't
He's
think so either, but I don't know if he thinks that.
no, but he's Josh McDaniel though. Like he's not Josh McDaniel. He's just with Josh. You know, he's not someone that should be a head coach. He's someone that should be a coordinator going forward, wherever
I
he's at.
agree.
That's
I
okay.
agree. It's totally fine. Let's do the power rankings. We talked about the Broncos. I think we had a nice little section on Bo Nix and the Broncos. Maybe more time than they deserved.